of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. There's lights that burn so brightly, in the northeast sky they shine. From a place that Geordies worship, where legends wear number 9. You can travel right round the world, even meet the Pope in Rome. But nothing beats the feeling of when you come back here to home. No matter how life changes, we'll never be far apart. The northeast always home, and it's always in your heart. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And sorry about the little bit of lateness there, but just had a few difficulties getting sorted out. But everything's back to normal, so I'm fine. So before we get into the press conference reaction of Eddie Howe, yes, we may have seen all the news today that concerning the BBC and Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker is taking off air for the time being. He stood down from Match of the Day for the time being. And fellow pundits have come out in support of Gary Lineker. Ian Wright, Alan Shearer have both said they will not be on Match of the Day for the foreseeable. So obviously supporting their mate Gary Lineker. And also Jermaine Genius, who would be doing the one show tonight, come off after the one show and said he's doing the same. He's stepping back as well from Match of the Day. So not a great deal around for the BBC, is it? But there again, the BBC don't like people having a freedom of speech. So I don't know what's going on there with the BBC, but, you know, I mean, was Lineker out of order with his comments? You know, he basically said the way Rishi Sunak said about the boats. I know we're not in a political show here, but with what Rishi Sunak said about trying to stop the immigrants coming over and the migrants, you know, Lineker's likened it to 1930s Germany. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, we don't know. But at the end of the day, he's expressed an opinion. You know, sometimes when you're a high public figure like Lineker, maybe you shouldn't be expressing your opinions like that. But, you know, it is what it is. And I think that's all we need to see on that matter. But, so everybody. So as today, Eddie Howe has had his weekly press conference ahead of the game against Wolves on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff, live on Sky Sports. And we were looking to see what Eddie Howe's had to say today. And we'll get straight into that now. So, on the fitness updates of Fabian Schär, who missed the trip to Man City last week after the concussion from the Carabao Cup final, and Bruno as well. So Eddie did say, Fabian's trained well this week. We're pleased to see him back. We got a couple of knocks from the Manchester City game. We hope nothing too serious. I think Bruno's fine. I don't think he's missed any training from the ankle. I think it was sore initially against Man United, but he was taken back to training with no problem. Touchwood, I don't see a long-term problem with it. So, yeah, as we know, Schär was missing because of the, because of the concussion protocols, which is what you got to do. But not only that, Bruno had that little injury. But now he mentions there's a couple of knocks. Now, Anthony Gordon's not in any of those training pictures. So has he took a knock somewhere? But that's not being said. So again, we wait for that and we see what happens. If I go to the next part of Eddie's press conference, just getting to some comments. And Neil says, big ups, Tony. Hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thank you very much indeed. And Ian says, evening, Tony. Evening to you, Ian, as well, sir. Hope you're all very well indeed. So, yeah. So, Eddie Howe was then asked the next question. On the recent form, we are winless in our last 5 Premier League fixtures. Eddie says, through every season there are difficult moments and there are patches where you, for some reason, don't win the games maybe you should win. That's the time I believe that you have to be really strong mentally and know it will change. I think this has been slightly different to previous experiences I've had with cup games in the middle of 2 tough league games, but general performances have been very strong. You have to look at the dynamic of the team, how they're performing, knowing the results will follow that pattern. So yeah, we had between Liverpool and Man City, we had the Carabao Cup final. Yes, we have had a little dip in form, and we knew this was going to happen at some point this season. We didn't know when it was going to happen, and but we knew that dip in form was going to come in. But we're not scoring the goals. That is the problem. We've got the chances there, and Wilson's missed it and it's just and Joe Linton. It's like, well, we need to address the scoring situation, and let's hope we have addressed that by the time we come to play on Sunday afternoon. Ian says, don't agree with what he said, but he's entitled to his opinion. I have no problem with that. Absolutely. Too right, Ian. I mean, yeah, Lineker is probably, I don't like the way he's worded stuff. I think it's wrong. But I do think he has a right to an opinion, like anybody has. We all have a right to an opinion. Some people may not like our opinions, but at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So maybe he just done it in the wrong way and didn't, but that's what happens. So let's hope we address the goal scoring situation on Sunday. Also asked about the 2 upcoming league fixtures before the international break, as we've got Wolves this week and Forest next Friday, a week today. He says they're 2 big games because we were where we're situated. We want to go into that break in a really good moment. We're also running out of games and they will go so quickly. With 14 games left, that's going to disappear. We need the points. We're determined to try and end this run of games, and we have in a confident way. So basically Eddie's saying there are 2 big games. I mean, Forest are a tough nut to crack at the City Ground. They've played well this season there. They've beat Liverpool. Their teams don't find it easy to go there and win. Wolves will be a tough nut as well on Sunday. But if we come out of them games with 6 points, that will bring a lot of confidence going into the international break. And that's what we want to see. But we need to see a bit of refreshment in the team. Because, 14 games, they are going to go within no time. And it's going to be just like, boom, they've gone. Tony says, I think it's one of the most important games of the season. If we lose, we might be in trouble to find form, but a convincing performance can bring confidence back, and who knows? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what happens, and that's the thing. But I think 1 win with a couple of goals, and boom, we should be all right. Yeah, Paul and Susan's daughter. Such a shame. Yeah, she's been rushed into A&E, hasn't she, Ian? So I hope everything's okay, and I hope she gets well soon. So our thoughts with Paul and Susan at the moment. I saw Billy's tweet out earlier on, that's why the tune review on tonight. And also, not only that, Billy's having problems with these electrics, so possibly Billy's got a lot of snow there in Coventry in the Midlands. But yeah, I hope everything's all right with Paul's daughter, by the way, and Susan. So, yeah, let's hope. So thank you very much indeed, Ian. Um, so the club captain Jamal Lascelles, who obviously made his first start since August in last week's defeat, and the role he can play this term. So Eddie said Jamal has benefited from his training. He's trained really well at a very high level. You don't come in and perform like that in that type of game unless you're absolutely focused on your training day to day. He's led by example on the training ground. I have no doubt he'd come in and do well because of what I've seen, and he's performed at a really high level. I was pleased for him. He deserved the moment. He also looks to improve as he's not played regular every aspect of his game, so I think he's in a good place. The added responsibility on Jamal as captain is set the example day to day even more powerful for him if he can deliver that while he's not in the team, because he sets a standard that no one else can sulk or have a bad day because you have your captain who has been in the moment for the majority of the season and acted in the best way. So again, heaping praise on Jamal Lascelles. He had a good game last week. In fact, he had a brilliant game last week. He kept Haaland quiet. You know, and I know a lot of people were worried about Jamal Lascelles starting, but I tell you what, maybe he's proved a few people wrong. Yes, he's probably not the week in week starter now, but when he's called upon, he's come in, he's done the job, and you know what? That's the main thing. And obviously, he's a good guy to have around the training ground. But I do expect, possibly come the summer, then Jamal Lascelles could be one who be one of those leaving the club in the summer. So, but good nice words about Jamal Lascelles from Eddie Howe again. On facing Wolves, who claimed a 1-1 draw against us in the reverse fixture at Molineux. He says their manager has had a really big impact on their team. They've got some very good players. I felt they did in the first game against them. It was a tight game and I thought we were okay in it. He says Maxi scored a spectacular goal late on where he hit the bar just afterwards, so it could have been one that we'd won. They have very technical midfield with some good front players, and the manager has come in and give them confidence. Now they look like they're back to the Wolves of the previous seasons. So Eddie Howe's saying what a good job that Lopetegui has done since he's come in, and yes, he has done a good job. He's turned Wolves around. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting game on Sunday. And let's see what happens on Sunday. But hopefully, we come out this game with 3 points, and let's just get ourselves back on track. That's the most important part about it. So let's hope. Now, also in the news as well, I mean, you know, Eddie Howe was asked about Alexander Isak, and this is just strange from me, just really strange. Now, according to Eddie Howe, Isak is still lacking fitness and can't play a full 90 minutes. And he reckons he could probably get about 70 minutes out of the player. Right. Well, sorry, Eddie Howe, right? You're a nice man. You're a good manager. You know, absolutely think Eddie Howe is brilliant. I like Eddie Howe, right? But Callum Wilson hasn't been firing since the World Cup, since he come back. Callum Wilson's been very poor. 1 goal, 1 assist in 3 months. But you're telling me Isak can't play a full 90 minutes. Okay, he can't play a full 90 minutes, Isak. But at least let's see 65, 70 minutes out of him, or even 75 minutes out of him. And then bring Callum on for a half an hour or whatever, or 15 minutes. But just start getting just start getting there, and you know, just get Isak in from the start and give him a go and see where he can go from that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you know, Wilson needs to be rested out of this team. And I know Eddie Howe's worked with him at Bournemouth and he knows Callum Wilson quite well. But at the end of the day, you've got to start taking sentiment out of it and start putting Isak in. I'm afraid Wilson does really need a rest. So let's hope Wilson can have a rest out of this, because this is exactly what he needs. He needs that rest. And maybe that refreshes Wilson if he has a rest for a few games. Maybe, keep him on the bench for this game, the Forest game. Then you've got the international break to work with Wilson if he doesn't get called up by England. And then after that, then you can introduce him back in the team and see what he does. But, I think Wilson needs a rest, in all honesty, the same with Miguel Almiron. Ian said, I watched your short video earlier about losing subscribers. Wouldn't worry, it happened to Paul. It's trials, they subscribe, then later unsubscribe. They're idiots. Yeah, I've seen that, and but I've also heard it could be down to the fact that it's if anybody's had their account deleted or whatever by YouTube, then you obviously lose a subscriber. But I've also heard YouTube have been knocking people's off, because one of my regulars, Harry, he said he's had to do it a couple of times, subscribe back to me because it's unsubscribed him. So obviously YouTube's doing something. We don't know what they're doing. Harry, Tony, hope you're well, mate. Yeah, absolutely, Ian. And I hope you're well as well, mate. But yeah, I mean, the Isak one, I don't understand it. Why Eddie says he can't play a full 90 minutes. To me, it's just baffling. Why? Is Eddie favouring Callum Wilson here? But unfortunately, as I've just said, you can't have room for sentiment. You've got to put sentiment to one side, and you've got to pick the best team that you can put out there that can win a game. And Isak's cost us a lot of money. And Isak must be getting frustrated sitting on that bench thinking, hang on, how am I not getting in this side? How is Callum Wilson playing week in, week out when he's not done a lot? But I haven't had a chance to start and prove that I could go out there and bang the goals. And so, you sort of have some sympathy for, for Alexander Isak. I mean, what's your thought in the chat? Do you think Isak should start ahead of Wilson on Sunday? And, the only way you're going to build Isak's fitness is by giving him that 65 or 70 minutes every game. Build his fitness up. Then you go from, say, the 70 minutes, then you go to 80 minutes, and then you go to 85 minutes, and you go to the full match. But I think Isak has to start Sunday in my eyes, and I think that'll be a start. I also say Miggy needs a rest as well. He's got to rest Miggy, because as much as Miggy's been great for us this season, I think he's running a little bit out of gas at the moment, and maybe he could benefit from a rest and maybe start Jacob Murphy in his place. Jacob Murphy put in a couple of decent crosses, last week against Man City, which one should have led to a goal. And he had that shot in the Carabao Cup final, which worried David De Gea. So, I would kind of say let's give Murphy a go ahead of Miggy, and let's see what he can do. Ian says, bet Isak plays as Eddie never gives anything away, and he sounded like he was hinting Callum Wilson stuff, so I reckon it's a bluff. Do you know what, Ian? I had that feeling as well, but the thing is, though, let's hope that's the case, because I think if Eddie's honest with himself, you look at Wilson and think, do you know what, he's not doing it, I need to give him a rest, and let's hope that's the case. Ian says, even if Isak plays 60 or 70 minutes, can't be any worse than playing Wilson. Exactly, Ian. It's unbelievable. That Isak's getting overlooked. Wilson's had loads of chances when he started, and he's not putting them away. And I think this is where we need to give Wilson a rest. And even if Callum Wilson doesn't like having a rest, he's going to have to realise that now it's a squad game, and he's going to have to realise that he will be rotated. Because if we get any more strikers in summer, he could be a bench player next season, Callum Wilson. So yeah, so to me, I think all in all, I think as Ian Toon, he says it could be an absolute bluff. Yeah, we've seen that before with Eddie Howe. You know, we've all tried to guess these teams, and then when the team sheet comes out, it's something totally different to what you think. So yeah, let's see what happens on Sunday. But it would be great to see Isak starting on Sunday. Um, would you put Gordon in a free role? So would you bring Gordon into midfield in place? Well, obviously, because Joe Linton's suspended, so that you would tweak your formation for that, but you'd play 4-2-1-3, and you'd have Gordon in that free role, which he'd done against West Ham. He played pretty well. So would you do that with Gordon? So you'd have ESM on the left, and then you'd have Bruno and Longstaff as the two in the middle, with Gordon in front as the free role, and then your three up front would be Murphy, Isak, and ESM. Ian sent to Ian Fleming. Yeah, Wilson is not fit, and Isak looks right on to me, so I'm hoping that Eddie's playing the game. Yeah. And Ian agrees. And evening, Tony, says Lee. Evening to you, Lee. I hope you're very well, mate. Yeah, so, I mean, you've just joined in, Lee. We're just discussing, I mean, what's your thoughts with Eddie Howe saying that Isak can't play a full 90 minutes? But he's sort of like backing Wilson. So is it a thing of like saying, you know, what's difference? Wilson can't do 90 minutes, can he really? He's, but yeah, I don't get it with the Isak thing. I really don't. And as much as I really do admire Eddie Howe and I like what he's doing, I'm just a bit lost by how he can say Isak can't play full 90 minutes. But, you know, so let's hope that could just be a bluff for Sunday, and let's see what happens. Yeah, he's spot on. Ian says, doubt the formation will change. It worked well with our full team available, and we are there minus Big Joe. Yeah, the only other option I can see, Ian, if he doesn't do it that way, is he brings Joe Willock in to replace Joe Linton. That's the only other change I can see. That'll be the forced change anyway, but that again, that's if Anthony Gordon's fit. He hasn't been seen any of the training pictures, so again, is that a bluff? Because we've seen this before with Eddie, where players haven't been in the training picture, but then they've turned up and been on the pitch on the Saturday or Sunday afternoon. So again, that could just be a bluff. It could have just been a thing, or don't put no photos of Gordon out there, you know. So who knows? Who knows? Only Eddie knows what the team is for Sunday. Whether he knows his team now or whether he's waiting till Sunday afternoon. But I think Eddie knows his team for Sunday. Greg Willock will come in, I think, says Ian. Yeah, I've got that feeling, especially if, Gordon is missing. But, yeah. Lee says, Wilson hasn't been the same for the World Cup. Isak should be able to play a full 90 minutes. Well, that's the thing. He's back from his injury spell now, isn't he? So he should be able to play a full 90 minutes. But again, you know, Eddie Howe is saying this, but is this a bit of kidology from Eddie Howe? I don't know. That's the thing. I really don't know. But again, it's something we just have to wait and see what happens. And, you know, we will find out in due course. But we'll find out on Sunday afternoon at 3:30 when the team sheets come out. So, yeah. But obviously, referee for Sunday is Andy Madley. He's the man in the middle. If you remember, he was the man in the middle against Arsenal at the Emirates and was a total absolute nightmare. His fourth official is Craig Pawson. Another one that doesn't particularly like us. And on VAR, it's the man from Hartlepool, Tony Harrington, who last refereed our game against Everton when we beat them 1-0 at St James's Park. So there we go on that one. But that's your officials lineup. And if you remember, Andy Madley was the referee last week when this happened to his assistant referee. And again, no action taken against Bruno Fernandes. I don't understand that one. How on earth has he got away with pushing an official? I'm sorry, it should have been a ban. The FA are gutless. The FA are just toothless. They should have banned him for that. They should have had him in on a charge, because that's just disgusting. Whether the linesman shoved him or whatever, it doesn't matter. You do not shove an official. But it's a conspiracy out of the big six. Yeah, Ian says if Gordon not fit, Eddie could Eddie not play Isak on the wing and play Wilson up front? Yeah, he could do. Could play him on the wing. But I want to see Isak up the middle, or Ian, But again, he could play on the wing. Lee says we always ended out having the crap refs. Yeah, and that's the thing. I can't understand this. I mean, I don't rate Andy Madley. I think he's useless as a referee. But, again, we've got him. And let's see what sort of game he has on Sunday. That's for sure. But it's going to be an interesting game on Sunday. That's for sure. So my probable lineup for Sunday is definitely there'll be Nick Pope will be in goal, Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schär, Sven Botman, Dan Burn. That will be the back five, as I call it. Then you'll have Bruno in the middle, along with Sean Longstaff. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be this guy, Joe Willock. I think he will be the replacement for Joe Linton. And on the right, I want to see Miggy have a rest, and let's play him from the start, Jacob Murphy. So I definitely think he should be on the right. And the two that complete the lineup is Isak and ESM. So ESM on the left, Isak down the middle, and that would be my perfect lineup. What's your thoughts? Is that a good lineup? Would that be a good lineup to win against Wolves? Absolutely, I think. Or get your comments in. Do you think Miggy should have a rest, and should Jacob Murphy take his place? Should Murphy come in in place of Almiron and give him a rest? Because Miggy's a great player, but maybe he's run out of ideas. Or do we do the opposite? Do we put Miggy on the left and put him on the right with and put ESM on the right with Trippier? That's another option. So there's options there. And if you play Miggy, and if you play Miggy on the left, he's got a left foot, and he'd probably be most devastated with that left foot on the left wing than he would be on the right. So yeah, as we've got to deal without this guy on Sunday and next Friday against Forest, no Joe Linton. Ian says, just been on the news that match of the day will be on tomorrow without presenters or pundits. Oh, well, that's strange. How they're going to have that without? Oh, it's stupid. So all they're going to do is show the highlights of the games, basically, and that's it. Well, the BBC's brought this on themselves. They probably didn't think Gary Lineker had that much support. But when Big Al pulls out, Ian Wright pulls out, that just shows you how much the BBC scored an own goal here. And, let's hope this is not the end of match of the day, by the way. But the thing is, it's just going to get a whole lot worse. And it really, really isn't great at all, is it? So, again, we wait and see what happens. But Match of the day tomorrow is going to be a weird one, isn't it? And yeah, it's probably going to be a first that they've not had pundits or a presenter doing match of the day. Could bring Mickey on at half time, says Lee. Yeah, that's another option. Bring Mickey on at half time. That would be another fantastic option as well. But yeah, we do need to freshen things up in the team just to see if by bringing a few different players in does help the team out. I'm not saying make wholesale changes, but I'm just saying bring Murphy in for Mickey, Isak for Wilson, and obviously Joe Willock will come in for Joe Linton if Anthony Gordon's not fit. So I think those changes would be justified. And as I say, I think Mickey would benefit from a little rest on the bench as well. Because everybody's worked out Mickey that he's got to go from right to left before he can get the ball in the box. And by the time he gets it from right to left, he's got two players on him. So, and they snuff out the chance. Ian says, Sheeran right, you're not the type of characters to be getting told what to do, and good on them for telling the BBC to get to... Yeah, absolutely, Ian. Definitely, mate. I mean, you know, they've done well. And even Jermaine Genius has said tonight, after he'd done the one show, that he ain't going on the BBC on Match of the Day either. So he's pulled out. It's not looking great for BBC, is it? So I would imagine the BBC will want to get this sorted out rather quickly. Ian says Murphy deserves a chance. Yeah, absolutely. He's done well since he's come on as sub, and he's been the most used sub this season. Lee says they might start getting the football on ITV. Yeah, who knows, Lee? But, you know, obviously it wouldn't be this season. But, yeah, even the Premier League might be looking at the BBC and thinking, should we still give you the rights for this, for this tonight? But it's one of those. It's a strange one, and again, we just have to wait and see. So I'll just go to what he actually said. So this was Jermaine Genius. Being on air with a one show, I wasn't down to be doing Match of the Day tomorrow, but if I was, I would have said no and stood with my fellow pundits and Gary Lineker. So there we go. That's what Jermaine Genius has said about tomorrow's Match of the Day. So so well done for Jermaine Genius to say that. So yeah. Ian says, imagine if they all fucked off to Sky. Do you know what, Ian? That would be a laugh, wouldn't it? Well, Gary Lineker does do stuff for BT Sports as well, so yeah, that would be absolutely funny. Lee says, as they see, free football on ITV. Yeah, it is, absolutely. Ian says, would be better than the Manx Scouts are spouting. Yeah, definitely would be, yeah. Ian says, BBC has a contract for a couple of seasons. Yeah, Ian. Depends if the BBC can't deliver, then the Premier League have probably got... There'll be a clause in that contract where they've got a right to pull the contract, so who knows. But certainly want to be watching with interest, that's for sure. But, whether you like Gary Lineker or you don't like Gary Lineker, at the end of the day, yes, what he said might not be great, and it was probably not meant to be worded the way he did, but because it was out there on the written media and the visual media, so everybody saw it, this is what's got Gary Lineker in a bit of hot water. Ian says, they'll be tapping you and John Sinclair up soon, Tony. Well, pay me a decent. They pay me some decent money. I might think about it, but yeah. I mean, in all seriousness, I think yes, Lineker was wrong to say what he did say, but we've all got opinions at the end of the day. Sometimes you got to be careful how you put those opinions out there. It, it would be like me, because people come and watch me on here, and the thing is, it could be like I've put something out on social media, and then all of a sudden people look at that and say, "Oh, hang on a minute, you said this," and then people don't want to watch anymore, or people just don't bother, and you get yourself into trouble. So you've got to be careful, and if you're going to do stuff, make sure you construct it in words which are, not going to get you into trouble as such. But again, it's one of them. We just wait and see what happens. Ian says, could do worse, lol. Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you. Jody says, I'm sure John Sinclair can get his guys together for a spin-off match of the day. Yeah, I'm sure he could, but yeah, who knows? But it is just a weird situation with match of the day in it, and I might just watch it just to see what it's actually all about. Tomorrow night without the pundits, it's going to be a strange one. But yeah, who knows anyway. But yeah, I've had a bit of a busy day today. I got finished on work this afternoon, and then had to go and pick my car up from the garage where it was fixed. Then I had to take it from there to go down and get retested at the MOT centre. Oh, I've had a busy day today. Ian says, I think what he said is the right wording. This government used day in, day out is much worse than what Lineker said. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's only saying it. I mean, Gary Neville's always outspoken against the government as well, isn't he? So that's another one. But he's still at Sky. Jamie Carragher, spit as everybody calls him. He spat at somebody, but he still kept his job at Sky. Jody says this is the end of match of the day. Do you know what it is? It wouldn't surprise me. But the thing is, though, with match of the day, they need to sort something out. But tomorrow night they are having no pun, as Ian said earlier on, Ian Fleming. There are no pundits or presenters on tomorrow night. It's just they're going to just show the games and that's it. So it'll be interesting. Hi, Tony Noel says Coffee. Hi, Coffee. Hope you're very well, mate. Ian says they'll get all the ex-England women's squad on tomorrow. Wouldn't surprise me. Ian says he's a Scouser. They're always spitting. Yeah, they are, aren't they? Lee says, looks like Gray will be doing more Woke as Crisps. Gary will do more Woke as Crisps adverts, probably to earn some money. I mean, it's just ridiculous the way they're going on. Jody says it'll be like Top Gear when they get rid of Clarkson, Hamilton, etc., and replace them with Paddy McGuinness. Yeah, exactly that. Pete, good evening, Pete. Sorry to make it short tonight, Pete. But I will catch up on that. I see Castora bringing more pointless stuff out again. Yeah, I had the email today, Pete. I mean, I honestly, I couldn't believe it when I saw, and I thought, do these actually ever give up? Castori, did Castor actually give up? I mean, it's just they're expecting us fans to churn out more money yet again, and it's just an absolute joke. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Why they've got to keep bringing tops out for? So to me, the way they keep bringing this stuff out, and I hope I am right in a way, but it just makes you wonder: are we actually getting rid of Castor at the end of the season, and are they just trying to make as much money, as they can? mean, yes, while the tops are nice, they're nice looking tops, but it's £50 for a match day t-shirt. I mean, I just really don't get it. What are Castore up to? What are they up to? Coffee says, can probably see X-Man just filling in. Yeah, they're having nobody tomorrow night. Coffee at all. Nobody. I can't pronounce your name, but Newcastle win. Do you know what? Let's hope so on Sunday. Let's hope so. I really hope you are right. Jody says Castore will be still bring things out in 100 years' time for NFC supporters to buy. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. He says apparently we are going to have Adidas from 24-25. Yeah, that's what I keep hearing as well. Getting greedy, yeah. I don't want Castore next season, if I'm honest. It's just a joke. PD says £70 for the jacket, £65 for the pants, and only go up to 2XL. It's an absolute joke, isn't it? It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, I'm going to just put this on screen, but that's the match day tee, as they call it, and that's £50 for that. Yes, it's a nice looking shirt. I like the look of it. The design's nice, but why are they bringing a match day t-shirt out every single game? It's just beggars belief. I mean, you've got the zipler, as they call it, the middlier, the zip middlier. That's nice, but would I pay £70 for that? No chance whatsoever. Would I pay £70 for that? And they only go up to 2XL, like Pete says. And they've got trousers as well, didn't he say? There we are. These are the match day pants. Again, only up to 2. There we go. Special, just a plain pair of trousers with the NUFC badge on and Castore on it. I wouldn't pay £70 for them, in all honesty. That's a rip-off. Absolute rip-off. Coffee says, doesn't look great, in my opinion, a bit forgettable. Yeah. Jody says, I'm looking forward to seeing what match day T will look like for the Forest match next. Do you know what it is? That wouldn't surprise me if there's another one of them out next week. It wouldn't. Lee says, Adidas had fantastic clothing. Yeah, Adidas were brilliant. I liked Adidas. I miss them. I really do. They were my absolute favourite. I liked Asics as well. They've done some nice tops. Looks like the printer stopped working halfway down the top. Yeah. Agree. Coffee, says Ian. Brian. Hi, Brian. Hope you're well, mate. He says, how are you doing, Tony? Yeah, I'm doing absolutely brilliant, mate. He says, £70. What do Castore think they are? Adidas. Exactly, Brian. That's what I'm saying. They're bringing out all this stuff and they think people have got money to burn, but they haven't. Yeah, people have got not money to burn because they're burning through their energy. It's just disgusting. Adidas make things with style while Castore makes stuff that looks like a kid made in our class. That's the thing, Geordie. That's the thing. I mean, I've got the training top from this season, which I've got the because Pete's got the blue one with the dots on. I've got the black one with the dots on, the stripedy one. And but the thing is, though, it's just an iron. It's just a stuck on like heat seal badge. It's not even it's something you just put on with a printer press like you do with the numbers on the back. It just, it's made cheaply, but they sell it for a huge profit. I just want Adidas back. Ian says, can't wait for Adidas to come home to the tune. Yeah, definitely, totally agree. Pete says, I feel sorry for people who need a size up from 2XL. Yeah, I definitely do, Pete, as well. It's absolutely terrible, isn't it? Disgusting. They're not thinking. Jody says, we are living in a cost of living crisis, yet Castor, who are on a Scouse brand, are the most deprived areas in England, keep producing kit after kit. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Jody. Absolutely, mate. Coffee says they should release all kits at the same time instead of at different intervals. Well, this is about the third or fourth training top we've had this season. So it just shows you how many tops we've actually had. It just makes a mockery of it, doesn't it? You know, it's just they're just trying to screw us. That's all. And thing is, the problem is as well, what they're also doing is they're making kids go to their parents saying, "Oh, look, the new top, the new top, the new tops," and it puts pressure on parents because then they're thinking, "Oh, we need to buy this top for a child because if not, they're not going to have the same top as their best mate at school." And it's just stupid, absolutely stupid. Brian says, "You've seen Gordon interview, I noticed an increase in shoulder mass. Check it out. He's going to be huge next season." I've not seen it, but I will check it out, Brian. I will have a look at that. And I think you'll have a great season because after the pre-season, hopefully next season, we'll see a totally different player in Anthony Gordon. Paul says, don't the club have a say on what kits come out and how many? I'm not sure, Paul, to be fair, but it's just absolutely disgraceful. Pete says they're just a money-making machine. Yeah, Pete, absolutely, mate. Alan says, won't be the end of match of the day. Been on forever. Don't need Lineker. He can be replaced. That's the thing, though, Alan. Yeah, he can be replaced. But they've got to find more pundits now. And a lot of the pundits don't want to be on there at the minute. I'm sure it'll come to some sort of arrangement and sort it out. Jody says it'd be interesting if someone totaled them up to get an overall figure of how much it will cost to support for a season. I totally agree. I mean, we have the 3 tops, but then we had 4 tops, didn't we? Because, and I'm not talking about the group from the 60s, mind the 4 tops, but I'm on about the 4 football tops. But, I mean, we had that one that we played at Brighton and they brought that one out as a football shirt, you know? It's just ridiculous. Ian says they'll be left with a load of shite stuff when they get peddled in 3 months' time. I would love them to be peddled in 3 months' time, that's for sure. Be absolutely brilliant if that was the case. Paul says they're playing match of the day just without the pundits. Yeah, it's going to be a strange one, that, isn't it? But, hey, do you know what? That could be a show for me tomorrow night, couldn't it? Could have match of the day on, and I could do the punditry. Don't know. Hold that thought, though, guys. Hold that thought. Jody says the club probably aren't bothered as focused on FFP. Yeah, possibilities, yeah. Exactly. Coffee says, who needs pundits when we have brilliant previews, watch-alongs and reviews on YouTube? Absolutely, Coffee. Thank you very much indeed, mate. Thank you. Brian said, look, Gary, even more now. Him, politically very similar. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, Brian, you know, I know they say don't mix politics with sport. BBC are mixing politics with sport, yeah. Yeah, might not agree, but at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion. And he's only said his opinion. Maybe didn't put it down the proper way that he should have probably have put it down. But do you know what? It just shows that he's not bothered. And do you know what? I say good on him. But, you know, we can all have our opinions and all our views, and that's what it's all about. He says, don't argue, though. I know it's 50-50. Some agree, some don't. Absolutely. Ian says, Boris Johnson could be the lead presenter. Watch the deal. God, yeah. Bumbling Boris. Post only watch match of the day when we win. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Jody says, I bet you're looking at almost $1,000 because the normal home and away third kit's come to about 195 quid. Yeah, you're probably right. I wouldn't surprise me, Jody, to be fair. If you add in there, if you got bought the socks, if you bought the shorts, the training tops, the tracksuit bottoms, it's hard to think. Ian says, serious rumours that they are gone and Adidas are in by June. Do you know what? That wouldn't surprise me, Ian, because this could be the reason why they're bringing out all this stuff now to try and get the fans to buy as much as they can before they're actually peddled. Alan says, why don't the pundits want to be on? It's all to do with Gary Lineker not being on. Shearer's pulled out. Ian Wright's pulled out. Jermaine Genius has pulled out. He said, well, he wasn't invited on for this weekend, but he's pulled out. So yeah, it's all, they're all standing in solidarity with Gary Lineker. So that's what it's all about. It's their pals at the end of the day. Jody says, whatever happened to the freedom of speech? I'll tell you what happened with the freedom of speech. It's called the BBC, Jody. You know, the biggest corrupt broadcasting corporation going. But you can't have freedom of speech on there. But they can do whatever they want. I mean, I don't have to go into details about them, but they've had a lot of scandals, the BBC. Coffee says the pundits may collab with YouTube channels for punditry. How awesome would that be? That would be brilliant, wouldn't it, Coffee? Absolutely, mate. Yeah, definitely. Coffee says Alan Shearer and Ian Wright were Tony. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Mark, good evening to you, Mark. He says Newcastle should offer Alan Shearer a job now. Yeah, do you know what? I totally agree. I would love Alan Shearer to be at Newcastle. I think he should be. Be a great ambassador at the club, wouldn't he? Ian says the Eton toss has happened. That's what they think about it, and they can do what they want as they're rich, but football won't have it. Yeah, definitely. Jody says, I've heard Sun and the FC are showing solidarity with Gary Lineker by refusing to appear on Match of the Day. Oh, well said. Oh, Jody, I absolutely love that. I think that's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that's just brilliant, that is. Grandad Shed, Mr. Lineker was happy enough to take 1.6 million commentating for Quasar TV before he slogged that off for human rights on the World Cup. Yeah, that's another good point. That is another good point. I mean, it's just, they're all at it, aren't they? Gary Neville's another one, isn't he? But it is what it is at the end of the day. But, yeah. We shall see what happens in the times to come. But, yeah, so I'm coming to the end of the show now, guys and girls. But if you did miss it, then you can always watch it again and see what you missed out on. But, I mean, looking ahead to Sunday's game against Wolves, I'm anticipating maybe a 2-0 win for us. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. And I would like to see Isak on the score sheet if he starts. And I'm going to say Bruno for the other goal. Jody says, does Match of the Day need a fresh start without the likes of Gary Lineker and go with a modern version? Maybe they do. That's a very good point, Jody. But thing is, Gary Lineker's highly paid there, isn't he? So who knows? Who knows? But we shall wait and see on that one. Lee says 3-0 win. Do you know what? I would take that all day, Lee. But I'm going to say I'm sitting safe 2-0. Jody says Pope, Trippier, Botman, Share, Target, Bruno, Longstaff, Willock, go near 7, Isak would be my 11. That would be a great 11. But I don't think he'll start Target though because he's not match fit. If he's not starting Isak because he's not supposedly match fit, then he's not going to start Target. 2-1 win, says Jody. Yeah, take that as well. By Tony and all with 3-0 win. ESM, Isak and Murphy. Well, I like your confidence, Coffee. And do you know what? That's not bad. But yeah, bye-bye to you as well, mate. But yeah, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, so that's it. I'm coming to the end of the show, guys. But, whatever you're doing for the rest of your evening, enjoy the rest of your evening. Jody said, I think Isak will stop before only an hour or so. That's the thing. Yeah, give him an hour. Give him 70 minutes and just see what he can do. Any clues for Sunday? Or for secret location? I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing one this weekend, though, because I've got to go out tomorrow. Unless if I'm anywhere near tomorrow, I could probably do something, but I'll see. But if not, that will definitely return the weekend after, that's for sure. So if I don't do one this weekend, it'll definitely be the weekend after. But it definitely won't be Sunday because we've got a game on Sunday, haven't we? So we've got the match on Sunday. Ian says, see you later, Tony. 2-0 Toon. Yeah, see you later, mate. I hope so, yeah. Georgie says, secret location, Tesco's. Yeah. Yeah, to get me grub, me shopping. Bye, says Alan. Bye to you, Alan. Lee says, win will boost up for good winning run would be great. And tonight, Tony. Yeah. Night to you, mate, as well. Yeah, it would do. That's what we need. We need that win and run and go on a winning streak. And if we can get a win against Wolves and then Forest, that takes us into the international break in a more happier place. And remember, Spurs, we're only 4 points behind them. We've got 2 games in hand on them, so we could still get in there. Coffee says Tesco's my favourite. Yeah. Great stream, Tony, says Jody. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. So that rounds up the show now, guys. But yeah. So enjoy what you're doing for the rest of the evening and take care and see you all later. Bye-bye for now.